beautiful day outside. The sun is shining. The weather is perfect. I'm sneezing my head off. It's my favorite time of year, Tim.
It's spring, though.
Spring has sprung, is what they say. April showers bring May flowers.
Yeah, it's not April, though.
Is what they say.
Yeah, they do.
How beautiful to live in a world with
All right, just
Octobers, they say. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bible is Funny podcast. I'm Anthony. That's Tim. We're back. You're here on a very special day with us. This is a Christian movie kind of day. Tim, you feeling ready to do some Christian movie stuff?
Yeah, well, I already watched it, so let's talk about it.
Better yap about it. And that's what we're going to do. I have a couple of things to cover before we start, Tim. I have
housekeeping.
2 housekeeping things, and I have 1 personal thing I need to share.
Great.
Which one do you want first? You tell me.
I can't say neither, right?
No. So let's start with housekeeping.
Okay.
I'm responding to a couple of things that our friends, the viewers, have said. First one's quick. If you're listening to this podcast, if you're on Spotify and your ears are engaged and your eyes are like, man, I wish I could play. Guess what? Good news. This is a video version of this podcast on Spotify and YouTube. So if you have not, if you're not on to the video track with us yet, check them out because it's awful fun.
Yeah, really, the only difference is how sloppily we've dressed.
We're so slobby. Just a couple of slobs. So you can watch this podcast if you're still listening. Second thing somebody called me out on, and I was very thankful for it, is just a reminder. Tim and I, best friends, podcasters, we also do improv comedy. Isaac Improv. Ever heard of it, Tim?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a while.
You're half of it. So the better half.
Aw.
Isaac Improv. We travel, do improv. We've been doing it for many, many years. We just started a really fun thing where we do improv trainings. We teach improv principles to teams to help them to collaborate better, be better teammates, think on the fly, creative problem solving, brainstorming kind of stuff. All these tools that we've been practicing for decades, really, on the road. We have found a way to teach it to teams. It makes for really fun training, a lot of laughing, a lot of memories.
Well, really, we don't teach them to be better at it. We just let them know how bad they are currently at it.
And that's where you have to start.
Starts with shame.
To start. All good things do. Improv training available now. You can head to isaacimprov.com. You could honestly message The Bible is Funny. It's also us. Just let us know. We'd love to come hang out with your team and do some fun things.
Well,
okay.
I wouldn't say love to hang out.
Now my personal thing. A fellow by the name of Kendrick Lamar. Been in the news. You seen this? Heard about this? Kendrick Lamar did the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Did a great job, I thought. And it's a lot of his songs have since even, you get that wave of popularity. Not that he wasn't popular, but now it's like, anyway, my 9-year-old was kind of humming the tune of Not Like Us in the house. And I was like, okay.
It's appropriate.
Okay. Let's talk about it. And then I heard it a couple times. And I just was gonna let it go. And then I heard him saying words that weren't the words that I knew to Not Like Us. Not like I know the words to Not Like Us, because I listen to Michael W. Smith exclusively. So I was like, that's interesting. And then I found out, Tim, you'll be really happy to hear this. There's a Kids Bop version to Not Like Us.
Perfect.
So there's a Kids Bop that is We Ride the Bus. We Ride the Bus. And it is all, school oriented. And I haven't really caught a lot of it, but this is a fun game. I'm going to give you a lyric. You can guess which part of the song if you are familiar with Not Like Us. And my son's been really hitting the hardest. He's walking around the house saying, certified alligator, certified crocodiles. So that's what's going on in the Russo house.
Well, I'm just glad it's not like a cheesy Christian version of the song, because I wouldn't put it past Sunday school people to make
that
one of those.
exists.
Yeah, the makers of VeggieTales are doing something like that.
That is out there. Actually, if you've seen it, please send it. I would love to see, because that's what they do. That's what the
because they not like us.
They're not like us in that we would not make a Christian version of Not Like Us, but somebody did. And if you've seen it, please send it because I'm so confident that it is out there. And I'm going to guess it's something like don't make a fuss. You shouldn't cuss.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Something like that. Right? It's time to trust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good one. There's something there. Yeah. Not Like Us, Kids Bop version. That's what Cross has been singing. Okay. I think that's all the bookkeeping we have to do.
Thank God.
We're done. We're done with the business. Now it's time to get to the
business.
Other business. We're reviewing a Christian movie today. Today we are we have consumed, we're here to discuss the 1992 high school drama, Second Glance.
Second Glance.
Second Glance. Take a second glance. Tim, for those people that 1992 was a long time ago.
Yeah, it doesn't feel too long ago to me.
Tough pill for me to swallow.
I remember the year.
Yeah, and I'm like, I was alive.
Technically, yeah.
I was barely alive, but I was alive. And then when you see what footage looks like, what movie footage looks like from 1992, you're like...
It makes me feel like I'm watching MacGyver again.
Were we buying things with beaver pelts? Did we have money at that point? I don't know what was going on in 92. I thought I did, but I don't know that I do. I think Ricky Henderson was playing baseball.
Oh, for sure.
Can I shout out Ricky Henderson?
I think JFK was president.
Tim, the movies from 1992 is getting in the Wayback Machine. So if you would, can you share anything you found in your findings for the people here to get caught up?
Yeah, I sure can. So there's a lot of history. It's old, so there's history there, but it's not like super. Not a whole lot of details. But this film was written by Danny Corrales, John Newcomb, and Michael Martin. Directed by the one and only Rich Cristiano of the Cristiano Christian Film Company. He also did Unidentified and The Secrets of Jonathan Sperry, which we are still trying to figure out.
You think he's going to give up his secrets that easy?
Nope.
It'll take more than a 2-hour movie to get Jonathan Sperry to give up his secrets.
Just please don't make another one. This film stars the one and only David A.R. White as Dan Burgess. As a kid. He's a kid, though. He's a kid in this film. You may remember David A.R. White from such films as God's Not Dead, God's Still Not Dead, God Never Died, God wasn't asleep during the movie, God was just closing God's eyes. Just for a second. Born in 1970, he's 22 in this film. He's just a pup, but he's playing a high school kid.
I don't know about you. I'm feeling 22.
Yeah, he at least that's what at least it was 22 when it was released. So, he to me in this film, he reminds me of like James Van Der Beek mixed with Eli Manning. This kind of like dough-faced.
Definitely
kid.
saw Eli.
Yeah, but with the haircut of today Patrick Mahomes. Not even Super Bowl Patrick Mahomes, but today Patrick Mahomes, because it's like a curly fro top, faded. Yeah. At one point, he's even picking his hair. He uses
a pick at one point.
Yeah, and it doesn't change at all.
No.
He's just got a little white guy fro. It's good. The haircut.
I got big Corey Matthews energy from Boy Meets World, from the look and just the overall demeanor and how he operated inside of a high school context.
Yeah, I mean, at this time in the early 90s, like all the white guy actors looked the same. I mean, you've got Mark Paul Gosselaar, like he looks like Zach Morris as a kid. Like,
right.
Yeah,
Shades.
Yeah,
for sure. Anything else production-wise or?
Oh yeah. So
otherwise, we need to know.
Yeah, David A.R. White. I learned this go round with David A.R. White.
Yeah.
He was in a few TV shows as well, like Coach. He's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He's been doing work in Hollywood for a bit.
Yeah.
He was in California Dreams somewhere. He was in Melrose Place. His bio says that he was in Saved by the Bell, but if If you can find him in Saved by the Bell, I'll give you $1. Because he's not listed. It's not listed in his official credits, but it says it in his bio.
I love this challenge. I will Venmo you $1 if you can send us a screenshot of David A.R. White in Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, even like a clip of like which episode was he in? Because I've seen every episode of Saved by the Bell.
You're a big Saved by the Bell
guy.
And
if he's saying Saved by the Bell, like the new class, like no, that doesn't count.
What is denoted in IMDb?
It's not. That's what I'm saying. It just says it's in his bio. It's like in text format. Yeah, it just says he was in Saved by the Bell, and I've never. Not that I've. I guess I could have picked it up.
Now, emotionally, we were all in Saved by the Bell,
right?
But
that's what I'm saying. I've watched every episode 30 times. That was my life. As middle school, maybe even high school kid.
You would wake up in the morning.
Yeah. When the alarm gave out a warning. Yeah, but I didn't see him. So if you can find him in there, I'd love to see a clip. I would be so happy.
I'm not joking. You're thinking that this $1's not coming to you. I will Venmo you the $1 if you at the Bible is funny send
in a podcast shout out.
Okay.
Yeah, let's up the game.
Let's do it. If you can find David A.R. White and Saved by the Bell. Not David White. I don't know who that is.
A.R. White.
David A.R. White.
This film, moving on, because we can't just talk about David A.R. White this whole time.
I wish we could.
We can. Blaine Pickett stars as Muriel the Angel. Lance Zitron as Doug. Doug was also in Unidentified, but sadly he passed away in 2020. So
I saw this in prep of this podcast. I liked him in Unidentified.
I liked him in this film too. He's like not the good guy, but you like him. He does a pretty good job. Yeah. I know. He's a likable bad guy.
Yeah.
Also stars, I'm just going to run down a list of people here because you never heard of them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give him some credit.
Go ahead.
Mandy Posey as Jenny, his sister. Skip Stewart as Ricky, his best friend. Mm-hmm. Denise Weatherly as Tamara, a.k.a. Tammy, a.k.a. Hottie McHot Stuff.
Hey-o.
Jim Whitehead as Bull. And Andrea Darnell as Melanie, the other girl.
That's right.
Love interest.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's more, but again, just trying to be nice here.
Yeah, they were all in the movie. And it's important to shout that out because it's something.
It's a creative endeavor, and they need credit for it.
That's what it's a perfect segue into our next part of our Christian Movies Are Funny podcast we like to do, which is to say that listen, what we do here is we consume films and we discuss them here on the podcast. It's part of the fun experience of movies being in existence. There's far too many movies for anybody to watch all of them. So we like to pick the Christian ones, a lot of them that you send us. This was sent in by a viewer.
The best of the best.
The best of the best. We consume them, we discuss them here. Hey, some people are afraid to make things and create and tell stories and do all this stuff. They're afraid of criticism. And we don't, Tim and I talked about this. We didn't want this to be like just a celebration of unnecessary criticism. You make your thing. You tell your story. You paint your painting. You sculpt your sculpture. You do tricks with your yo-yo. Whatever it is that you do, that's your creative exercise. I think you should do it. Do it. We're not going to talk about your yo-yo work. We're just going to talk about like these Christian movies. Like that's a different thing. So go out there and make your thing. Tell your story. Do you, boo-boo. That's one thing we really believe here.
It's a good word. Let's pray.
Do you, boo-boo. Now I am going to give did you have a synopsis? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a synopsis?
Well, yes and no. So IMDb usually has a synopsis that's like theirs. I don't know where they pull it from, to be honest. But in this one, it's like if somebody else wrote it in and it's kind of weird. But I kind of cut it to give it its own simplified version because otherwise this thing goes on and on. But okay. I'll go ahead and jump in. Daniel, a young Christian attending a public high school, feels like his religion places too many restrictions on him and wishes to have some freedom from Bible teachings so he can be more popular and date the girl he likes. One night, Daniel wishes that he had never become a believer, and the next day, he has a rude awakening.
Wow.
And yeah.
Wow.
And then again, they're where they go is his room is different, his house is dirty, and an angel meets him and explains that if his heavenly Father answered his life he would never become a Christian. And he soon finds out that the two bullies at school are now his best friends and enjoys them. So he goes through
That's
They
all-
just tells his story.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of those AI generated. Like, just tell me the.
Nah, it's
Give me
not,
the whole movie.
It's not AI generated, but it kind of feels like it.
That's what it feels like to me.
It's just too poorly written to be AI generated. And also, I don't think AI cares about this.
Well, it's crazy that they would take the time to go through a more thorough synopsis of a movie that's honestly not all that long. But we're going to go ahead and do a more thorough synopsis of a movie that's not all that long. This movie is available for free on YouTube. It is a nostalgia ride for sure. I'm going to put the link in the show notes where you can watch the whole movie right now for free on YouTube. So you may do that now if you would like to watch it with no spoilers. There's no spoilers. At this point, we've really not given away anything that's not like in the summary. But we are about to kind of walk through the whole thing. So if you want to go check it out in the show notes right now, you can go watch the movie and then we can all talk about it being in the know, or you can hang with us. Either way, I'll give you a moment to make your choice. Okay, either welcome back or thank you for staying with us. This is the synopsis of Second Glance. Danny is a high school kid who's just trying to do the right thing. He's berating volunteer members of his Christian club, threatening his younger sister, and pretending to care about a girl's academic pursuits just so he can ask her out on a date. But when a misunderstanding in the classroom gets Danny suspended, he feels discouraged, overlooked, and even goes as far as to pray the prayer of unsalvation. God's most boring angel, Uriel, grants Danny's prayer wish, and he gets to experience a whole day of unencumbered secularism. But it's not all popularity parties and pregnancy scares. There are also some bad stuff. In the end, Danny realizes he's making a much larger impact than he could have ever imagined. Because of his faith, his house is clean, his car is bad, and an entire home economics class has been displaced. Jesus, man.
Oh, there it is.
That's the movie.
Also could have been summed up by this is like Left Behind meets Home Alone meets Sliding Doors meets It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. It is essentially the movie It's a Wonderful Life, with a much less interesting angel.
But also quite a bit shorter. So
Also, it is more to the point, you know, without as much Jimmy Stewart. Mary. That's my one impression I do. But we won't do it more now. Tim, let's discuss. What was something that was shocking to you about this movie?
Well, you know, in my opinion, there would have been so many shocking moments. However, most all of these dramatic reveals that would have seemed jarring and terribly shocking were soothed by really pleasant chimes.
So it helped you, you're saying?
Yeah, like, oh, no friend at the lunch table because he's dead now? Chimes. Oh, that doesn't feel so shocking at all anymore. No dad around?
No.
Because your house is
He
wrecked?
was in Los Angeles, obviously.
Not so bad because of the chimes. So the most shocking thing to me then ended up being that they tried to pass off the actor who played Bull as a high school person.
Okay.
He's like a 42-year-old car mechanic. And
Right.
they're like, yeah, no, he's a sophomore. High school.
Big contributor on
Like
the football field.
he's got like the sailor tattoos on his
Yeah.
arms and everything. And they're like, no, Bull could pass.
Okay, if I may build on that for one of mine.
Please.
My most shocking thing was why in 1992 was the goal to look like you were 42 years old? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it was the hairlines were like, yeah, if you are an insurance guy at the age of 40 something, yeah, you're nailing the style.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Even David A. You're 22 years old. Why are we all trying to look like we're in our mid 40s? This is the weirdest target.
Because you gotta look older. You gotta look well put together. I don't know.
Yeah,
it didn't make sense. It was the 90s.
It didn't make any. I'm like, everyone in this movie. I know, this might be a shock to some. Most of the teenagers you watch in shows or movies are not teenagers.
What?
They are older actors pretending. But at least they sort of style them. Like Like I was around in the 90s enough to know.
But that's how we were in the 90s, man.
It was very. I was like,
remember.
man, this
you
is
don't
like
know.
whatever the word for that is it a widow's peak?
The widow's peak, yeah.
There was like sophomores rocking a widow's peak.
I mean, widow's peaks aren't like a fashion trend. That's just how your hair goes.
But they were like leaning into. I'm like, bro, this is why you got a receding hairline.
Because they
and
were
you're
all
a
old.
sophomore.
Right. Again, they were not
Cover
actually
it up.
sophomores in high school.
Except for Doug. Doug was a stud in this movie. Okay, I had one more other shocking thing, if I may. It's a very detailed note. But I was immediately fascinated. At 30 minutes and 14 seconds into this movie.
Hold on. I know what you're gonna say, but
Do
go on.
you?
Yes. That's because this is mine. This was my high point.
Okay.
You're gonna take it.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're gonna take.
Really? 30 minutes and 14 seconds, they're at a party. They're at Randy's party. And they discover something in the fridge. Yeah. Seriously?
That guy, yeah.
It is an entire ham.
Yeah.
It is a wrapped ham.
Right. Okay, then I'm gonna jump to my high point.
And there's just paint the scene for the viewer. They're pulling. There's a kid.
One kid
Pulling stuff. Look at this. It's a beer. Look at this. It's more beer. And then he pulls out a whole ham. And
he shakes it.
Lights up like beers. Beers. Hey, I found the ham.
Right. He shakes it. And he's like, now we're gonna party.
This was it.
Love
so
it.
I don't know what you had to say. I had some questions.
That was my high point.
Okay.
That kid, that guy was like a Jim Belushi or John Belushi kind of character. Like
Yeah.
he just a goofball. I loved it. He doesn't say a word.
Doesn't say a word.
Love it.
The reason I had this in shocking was just why this ham in this way. My question is, are Randy's parents running a deli out of their house where they slice this sucker? Because that's the kind of ham this was.
Yeah, I
It
know.
wasn't a Christmas morning ham, folks. This was a deli meat ham that was completely wrapped. Who on set had one of these? They were like, we gotta put some stuff in the fridge. What do we got? Like, okay, I'll go to the store, get the beers, and do this. Okay, I have a whole ham in my fridge.
Put it in.
You want me to bring that?
Uh-huh.
That's so funny that was your high point.
Yeah. It made me laugh. Like legit comedy
gosh.
laughter at that.
Yeah, it was.
Because like the way the kid did it seemed very improvised to me. Like,
Yeah.
he handed out the beers. It's trying to give it, show the scene at a party. Party, ham party.
That's great. All right, give me a character you want to see less of. I'm gonna feel like we're gonna be the same on this one.
No, there's no way. Is Muriel.
Muriel,
The
100%.
creepy angel with the weird teeth.
Weirdest, dude.
He was just so creepy. His line, "You like to spend time with Tamara because you desire some physical pleasure with her." It's like, oh, why do you gotta say it like that?
Hey, like who was like, I like the way you're talking, just make it more like the Hannibal Lecter. Can you do more Hannibal Lecter as one of God's angels showing up on Earth? I think they would sound like Hannibal Lecter. Could you do it just more Hannibal Lecter-y? The whole rant about the sex rant was completely unnecessary and weird and out of place. The way he talked the whole movie, everything about Muriel was like really off-putting. Mm-hmm. This is a 50-minute movie. He probably had 4 scenes, and we collectively agree we needed less of Muriel. Like it was so odd. We're so synced today, though, and that makes me really happy. Muriel was. I don't know. Is there anything else we need to say about Muriel? I don't want to come off it too quick, but it was.
We wanted to
really,
see less of him anyway. We don't need to talk about him more.
It was not.
But he's like the crux of this whole movie. Like he's explaining the plot.
Yeah. And he like over-explained the plot too.
Yeah,
it was like
we got it.
You showed it. David A.R. White. I mean, I say this a lot. Is like he did a good job. He's like carrying the movie.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And we get it. We got what we were supposed to get. And then it's like, okay, it was delivered in albeit a cheesy way, but it was delivered. And then Muriel explained it all. Right. You see, your life was not as bad before as you thought it once was.
Yeah, I know.
The things that you wish you wanted were not what they thought you might be when you received them.
Yeah, I know. I just lived that life.
And now that you are here, you wish for yourself that you could go back to the life with which you once did not want to have.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm already feeling.
And it was your shirt that changed when your whole life was changed.
I know. I hate the color orange. Why would I eat orange?
Uriel, we know. We know. It was so bad. It was like really, really frustrating. I'm sorry. A character you wanted to see more of?
Mine was Mr. Milner.
Yeah.
The English teacher.
Accepted.
But specifically the Mr. Milner in the Bizarro world, where he's like working at a diner
he's
and
a waiter.
he's yelling at he's working at the diner as a waiter, and he's like yelling at kids for their music videos. Because they're so distracted by their music videos nowadays and their MTV. Definitely not the Mr. Milner who creepily starts whispering in Dan's ear early on. God, Shakespeare. That was a little much. But yeah, Mr. Milner in Bizarro World.
Simpler times when music videos were like our big problem. Yeah. We got to rein in the music videos. That's our issue number one. I accept that. I said Melanie. And it was really because she was just chaotic, and I was here for it. So she's like, they try to in real world, they pass her off as just kind of like Bull's girlfriend, and she's chatting with another male classmate, and she's kind of like a side character. In Bizarro World, she takes main stage.
She's unhinged.
She is unhinged. She's hooking up with Danny, and then she does this really big pregnancy announcement in front of like this whole party, and then says, but I'm not really pregnant. I'm just trying to make you stay with me. And then she gets on the phone with Bull, who's like accosting people. I was like sending people to the hospital because he's assaulting them left, right, and center. And she calls him and is like, this guy tried to get me pregnant or something. It was crazy sort of like Joker energy. And I was like, dang, Melanie.
Well, I thought it was very Kelly Kapoor-ish.
Yeah. Like 100%.
Totally bizarre and wild.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I was like, this is it. Melanie, when she comes on screen, I'm leaning in going, what's going to happen next? I don't know what happens with Melanie. She is loose cannon. Character that reminded you of me. I think maybe tough in this one, but
you think so?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, this is more you. Maybe more in the younger days. But man, Scotty. Such a nice kid.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just really hate to see what'll happen to you if you give up on your fate. Because
apparently some random person.
Jesus, man.
Thank you. I needed that. Mine for you was also, kind of reach a little bit. I said Jenny. And only in that it was a younger sibling who was just not afraid to stand up to the older sibling. Like just no fear in it. Like she went in there, cranked up his alarm clock every morning, apparently, because we only saw 2 mornings and she did it both. When confronted about it, she was kind of like, yeah, I did it. What are you going to do about it?
I like that. I'll accept it. I did like Jenny.
I liked her energy, and I was like, if I had to put Tim compared to somebody.
And in Bizarro World, Jenny doesn't even exist.
She doesn't exist. It's what a take. Okay, low point in the film.
My low point came early. When I realized that they were using those church folding chairs at their dining room table. I don't know if you caught that. Dining room table early on, family time eating breakfast, and they've got these folding metal chairs that they're eating on. And I don't know if that was just a set. Couldn't have been part of the set design. I just feel like they were probably close to a church, and they said, "Let's get these folding chairs."
Right? Over. Yeah, they had those at the ready. My low point was the end of the movie, and it was Danny asking Vicky out in the skeeziest way possible.
Oh yeah.
So he lives this whole day in this alternative life, and he's hooking up with Vicky, and he's hooking up with Melanie, and he's realizing they're not interested in my personality. They're interested in other parts of him, and that was its own thing. So then it makes him realize that in his real life that he had this girl that was near to him and was like listening to him and things. And so at the end of the movie, he approaches her locker and he's like, "Hey Vicky, God's been showing me some really cool things lately. I'd love to talk with you about it. Maybe we could go out maybe we could go out and get a bite to eat together." And I just like whole body cringe, like was like, oh gosh, that was if this is the you that has learned lessons, God help us. That was the most disgusting approach.
Yeah, it felt dirty. It was like, God has revealed some things to me in the Bible. You want to talk about them together?
Yeah. Because what girl doesn't want to be put in the position to either tell you, no, I don't want to hear what God spoke to you directly, or yes, I have to go on a date with you.
Yeah,
what good options?
I feel like that he was then going to take her on a date and be like, so it's the Old Testament and there's this inner thigh handshake thing. Really?
No, he would never do that. But that was a really
I've known some creepy Christian kids.
Easy ask out on a date.
And Christian boys will do that.
Just a straight up, do you want to go out to eat with me? He really was struggling with the straight up ask out on a date. That was another with both Vicky and Tammy. Just ask him on a date. I realize it's not easy, but you just got to ask him. There's no other way to do it. Give me a high point for you, Tim.
High point mentioned previously. This moment with the kid at the party. With the beers and him just shaking that ham like party. I loved it. There wasn't a whole lot of like straight up comedy stuff. I know that's shocking. But there wasn't a lot of that, and I feel like that might have been the only moment of comedy.
Mr. Milner had a line about something in the class when they were taking the test that I noted as like an attempt at a joke. And that was, I think, the only couple moments. My high point? Jesus, man.
Which one? The first one or the second one?
I think the second one was powerful. Danny had learned the importance of his life. And he just turned to Scotty and delivered that Jesus, man. Jesus, come a man. And I wonder if they workshopped it. Like, I wonder if he just said Jesus the first time, and then they were like, no, it needs something. It needs a button. Jesus, man.
Well, it's probably better than Dan's dad's lines. Where Dan is complaining about
missing out,
and he's like, I'm missing all the fun, and Dad goes, no, you're missing all the sin.
That was tough. That was tough dialogue. Danny's dad would probably be the second character I wanted to see less of.
Yeah.
When in the other version he was in LA, I was like, well, I mean, sometimes it's addition by subtraction. Okay, Tim, raised hand emojis out of 5.
I'm gonna be real honest here.
Give it to him.
For watchability, lower levels of cringiness than we're used to,
right,
and only minor levels of purity culture agenda. Plus, David A.R. White just crushes it.
Yeah,
you can watch it with your friends. I give it a 4.
100%.
It's
100%.
45 minutes long. You can go on your lunch break.
Yeah.
Just watch a stupid movie.
This is a great stupid movie to watch. Again, I always feel the need to clarify because Rob, our producer, does great work with cameras and editing, and he really appreciates the craft of filmmaking. This isn't a good movie.
No.
Do not get that twisted.
No.
But when you're looking to watch a bad movie, this is 4 stars.
Yeah, it's at least helpful when the main character is watchable. When that main character is not watchable, it's just makes the whole film bad. Even if you can have some bad acting and terrible lines and stuff here and there peppered in, and that makes it fun.
Yeah.
But when the main person just sucks.
Yeah.
At their craft, or the lines are poorly written, or the audio's off, or the timing is off, like that, then you can't watch the thing.
Right.
And this is not that.
This is not that. I mean, this is 45 minutes of... I thought... I meant to say this earlier. I thought... So the movie is kind of constructed around Danny running this FCA at his school. And the FCAs... This was like a thing for a while. Like, they were showing movies. They were like, invite them to this movie thing. Movies were fairly interesting still in 1992. Again... back to a time when there wasn't 50 new movies coming out across 80 different platforms every single day. So they're like, invite your friends to a movie. We'll give them some soda pop and some pizza. And then there was usually like a really heavy-handed message video. I think that was the story of the movie. And then I also think this movie was made for that purpose, to serve as like a PSA to be shown on a campus somewhere.
I could see that.
To be that. And so it's kind of, for that reason, it's like kind of fun. It's kind of like a cheesy... I don't know, traffic safety video or something. Like, it's like just kind of fun, and David Ayer White's fine, and it's watchable. And it's where we get that clip. I know you've seen this on the internet where he turns in the hallway and he does the fist pump. Like, and I truthfully, pretty immersed in the culture, didn't know that this was the movie, and we got to watch it.
We learned something
Honestly,
new today.
It felt like a treat a little bit for me. I know you probably had better things to do, but I liked it. 4 stars. 4 stars for sure. Also of note, when in Parallel World, Danny was really good at betting on football games. That's how he got a nice car. Mm-hmm. I think he should do that. I think now he has that information. There's no reason not to.
Oh, that's a good point.
Bet the football games. I mean, make some. I don't know. Fund your FCA.
Back then, it was illegal. You can do it now.
Yeah, I guess there was legality issues at some point.
I don't know that you can bet on high school games now. I'll be honest.
Oh, probably not. Probably not. Yeah. What bookie was running like high school bets, man? That's tough. He got into some deep stuff in that one day that he was not a Christian anymore. Oh, I also wanted to talk with you today about this movie, and it's like this trope. I'm so glad I almost forgot this. This trope that I find so interesting that there's like this idea has been exercised in other areas of like, I'm tired of doing the right thing. What if I did the wrong thing? Mm-hmm. And it's always positioned as if I did the wrong thing, I'd be so popular, and I'd have so many girls that wanted me, and I'd be making a ton of money on betting high school football games. Like, I just think that's such a funny proposition, and that's like cooked somewhere in like Christian subculture a little bit of like, boy, if we sinned, we'd be the best at it. You guys are lucky we don't sin because we'd be the best at it. And in reality, I'm kind of like, well, I think if you're like not really connecting with people in popular, as a Christian, I think you're probably not really connecting with people in popular if you like were not a Christian. I don't think it's like the Bible.
Yeah, it's not the rules holding you back. It's your stupid personality. That's your takeaway. That's your encouragement for today.
You know what I mean?
If you're a Christian struggling with this now and wanting to be bad again, you're still probably not going to be that cool.
You're not going to be cool. That's what I'm saying.
But that has less to do with Christianity than it does with just your general personality. So don't do it.
Right.
It's not worth it.
Right. And I remember hearing like youth leaders like that were not like quite the youth pastor or anything, but they were like small group leaders, and they were kind of in college or something, and you could hear this sort of pining in their voice. It was like, when I was in college, I could have done so much stuff, so much stuff that it was open to me, but I didn't. I decided not to.
I had so many people offer me drugs, wanted me to be in their club.
Everybody was like, I got offered to be the head of a mafia. It's like, no, you didn't. You did it. It's good you're doing good things. That's good. That's cool. But it doesn't mean...
Yeah, you're going to be a dork in either world.
This is what I'm saying. You're not Danny Zuko all of a sudden. The peak of cool. Is that his name from Greece? Danny Zuko?
I don't remember.
I think I got it. Big takeaways from today. All right, Tim. Well, we did it. We did the movie Second Glance. Now we have to go back and watch First Glance, so we know the backstory. There's no First Glance. Thank you so much for being here. Again, this was sent in from a viewer. If you have a Christian movie that we need to watch, please pass it along. We will find it on the furthest corners of the internet. I'm sure it's living somewhere, and we'll find it, and we'll watch it, and we'll consume it, and we'll discuss it,
whether we like it or not.
Thanks so much for following along. Instagram, TikTok @TheBibleIsFunny.
Jesus, man.
Jesus, man. Hey, I do want to remind you again, if you find David A.R. White in Saved by the Bell, I am so serious about that. Send it to me. Okay, and I love you. Bye.